Having competitive universities is increasingly important, I think, in the UK, in the US, in China, in France, in Germany. Different countries are competing to have the best universities. And in countries like Armenia and Russia and throughout Central and Eastern Europe and Asia, countries are worried that their universities are not competitive, are not keeping up. So the real issue is a major one for university managers, because universities really have often been thought of as like ivory towers where nothing changes, where it's a quiet, pleasant career where you join the university after your PhD and you're assured of a stable career for life, really, to pursue your interests. And I think all of that is changing. Universities are one of the most rapidly changing areas of the economy, funnily enough. I mean, personally, I feel that they're changing faster than Google, faster than any of the ICT companies. And if university managers don't catch up with that, they're going to be in real trouble. In the UK, as much as in Armenia. Quite interesting, US universities in the recent international rankings have started losing ground to new universities in China. There's a massive international competition for the best students and for the best staff. So countries like Armenia, with some very able, clever, intelligent, well-motivated students, some very well-qualified technical and academic staff, risk losing their best people to other countries if they don't have good universities. So we're really quite interested in how university managers change their approach to the way they manage those institutions. It doesn't stop with competition for students and staff. There are lots of other changes that are very difficult for universities to keep up with. Particularly the issue about technology. Now you've got universities like MIT in America, Harvard can beam their modules and their courses directly, globally on the internet through so-called MOOCs, or massive online courses. So they don't have to have faculty in Armenia. They can have their programs delivered over the internet and compete directly with the best national universities. In Yerevan, you have an American university that's been established. Very swiftly, these commercial operations can set up their campuses in countries like Armenia, and they can deliver a different kind of curriculum with different kinds of staff, a different structure, different ways of working that some students find very attractive. So national universities risk being undermined by these foreign imports. My own university, London Metropolitan University, we're based in London. We're one of the largest universities in London. We have one of the highest proportions of international students. But we also have increasingly branch campuses. We've got campuses in Nepal, we've got campuses in Athens, we've got campuses in Spain. So we bring our university to where the students are. So really the question is, what are universities here to do about some of these challenges? And I think from looking at it, one of the major issues in the international rankings is the question of research and how you support research in a country like Armenia, how you encourage the best staff to stay in Armenia, and how you reward them So I think the training of academic staff here, the rewards that are paid for staff that are successful in publishing in good academic journals, I think that's really important, giving people recognition for the research they do. I think attracting academic staff from other countries to come here, maybe just for short assignments. To work with Armenian staff is good. Maybe getting the diaspora, many brilliant Armenian scientists and academics working across the world, getting those staff to come back to Armenia, maybe for short periods, short assignments, to assist the universities in raising their standards. I think all of those things would be really helpful and really practical things that could be done. Now, of course, that requires more flexibility in terms of the labour laws and the rules of employment, more flexibility in the payment systems. But those things need to be done to open the universities to new kinds of skills and influence. I think Armenians themselves are very clear about what needs to be done, so I don't want to lecture about what the solutions are, but these are just some ideas from a brief visit to Yerevan and meetings with some of the people here. I think there are also issues about students. Why do Armenian students prefer, the best Armenian students prefer to go to other countries for their studies? And it's about looking at the conditions for study. It's about looking at the way in which subjects are being taught. And it's about looking at the attractiveness of the student experience, because now students can go anywhere, and even within Armenia they can choose which universities they attend. So you need to ask, why do they choose to go somewhere else? And I think customer attitudes are changing. In our university in the UK, the students pay very high fees, £9,000. They see themselves as being customers. They want to be well taught by skilled staff. They want to have pleasant buildings, good buildings to work from. They want to have good information about their courses. They want the university to care about their studies. They want to be fairly assessed by staff. They don't want bias in the marking. And the quality assurance system that you've set up in Armenia is one way of ensuring that process. Now the UK is an interesting example because we have around 100 universities. We're quite a small country. We spend quite a small amount on our universities. We spend less than a lot of the other OECD countries, and yet we have 3 universities in the top 10 of global universities, and we have a further 37 universities in the top group. So how do we achieve that? Well, it's quite interesting, really, and I think a lot of that relies not on spending a lot of money, but it relies on systems of quality assurance. It relies on the reputation of the universities for fair marking, for good research by the staff, for treating students in a fair and open way, and that attracts the best students. The best students do the best research. The best results come from that, so our universities rise up the rankings. The best students stay in the UK and they work in our industries. So we recruit many students from China, who migrate into our information technology industries after graduation, and they contribute to our economy. So having a good higher education system is very, very important. And that really comes round to the issue of management. How have we kept our universities competitive? We're not a rich country. We've had a lot of cuts. How are the universities that we have still in the top 10? Well, if you look at UK universities, my own included, these universities are managed very efficiently. So the staff have to perform. All members of staff have to publish in refereed journals. Their student evaluations in the National Student Survey need to be good. They have to meet some of the important targets that are required by the government. The whole university is ranked in a league table, and if the university loses its position in the national league table, it loses students, it loses money, and it declines. So there is a very, very strict system for the evaluation of staff and for the management of the activities of the university. I mean, I'm a senior person in London Met University. We have had our problems with management in the past, and we've had a very big change in the way we run the university, which has led to some very good results. So we've established project groups to deal with some of the most urgent problems that we have. And these project groups combine together staff from different specialisations, academic and administrative staff in small project groups to try and resolve our most urgent problems. So in the UK, we've had some problems with students not completing their courses, withdrawing from their courses early. So we've special project group dealing with that to identify students at risk early on and to help them with their studies. Quite sophisticated, using information technology to identify those students that are falling behind and to intervene to help and support them. We've got a massive program to renew our information base so that we can have what's called blended learning for students that need to work in order to pay their fees. If they miss classes, they can pick up on those classes on the internet after work. They can pick up the materials, they can be online with their lecturers, they can exchange information with them. We're completely re-looking at the way in which students learn. And because students are our customers, we listen to what they say. So all students are represented on course committees, which meet every term with the staff that are teaching them. And we listen to their views about the operation of the university, because the students are the centre of the system. If they have a good time, they learn better. So what we've done is we've cut management costs. We have very few senior managers. We make the staff lower in the system, responsible for the work they do. And the money that we save, we spend on students. So we've managed to increase the amount we spend on students directly from around £600 per year per student to around £1,000 per year per student, which is a big increase in the last 3 years through taking money away from wasteful expenditure on staff that are not necessary and putting it directly into things like the online learning system and the library and so forth. All this has meant that in the last couple of years, our university has managed to move itself up our national league tables and become more competitive from a very disastrous position. We were in a very weak position. We thought we couldn't compete, but we've had a significant improvement in our position. Students are beginning to apply to our university again in numbers. The university is beginning to grow. People are confident about the direction that we have. So for us, university management is about leadership and looking at these problems that the universities are facing and trying to find practical solutions to them through teamwork and particularly through breaking down the sort of hierarchy from the top of the institution giving instructions to the institution working with all its stakeholders, working with its staff, working with its students, and establishing a common purpose. Because really the competition that we have globally is so strong that we can't do anything else. We have to be competitive, we have to be businesslike, we have to be efficient. And I think that's the sort of, I get the impression that's the direction Armenia wants to go. And I think that is the answer. And I'm very happy to have been invited here to give some ideas about that.